Wait. Oh. There it is. There's a money shot. You see the butters. You see the seasonings. Right. You see the popping. Right. You just see all of this goodness. Perfect. I almost don't want to touch it. Like I almost don't want to touch this. Like it looks that good. But hold on. Oh my god. It tastes just as good as it looks too. Take my word for it. Movie theater popcorn. My god. I hope you got some snacks.
I used to work at Pizza Hut when I was in high school.
Mm-hmm.
I have a lot of bizarre stories from working there, but this is the one that scared me the most.
Right.
My Pizza Hut was the kind where you could only pick up the food.
Right.
And there was also a wall between the storefront and the kitchen. So if you were in the front of the store, you were pretty much on your own. The store itself was located in a kind of out-of-the-way, dead shopping center. Oh, and it was Las Vegas.
Right, oh.
And that should tell you a lot about the level of our clientele. For some reason, I always got stuck on the late shift despite being in high school. So on most weeknights, by 10 at night, it would just be me and one other cook in the store twiddling our thumbs.
Just saying. Wait. Cluck all night shifts. Cluck them. I'm okay with the first shift. I'm okay with the second shift. Not okay with the third shift. Nope. Nah. Shouts out to anybody that does the night shift, the third shift, because you got some real balls, you cojones, some bowling balls. You got some real coconuts. Cause I can't do third shift. Like, if I do third shift, you best believe I'm going to be surrounded by people, because I'm not just about to be inside the job by myself. This is why I can't do like gas stations. No, hell no. So if I ever do third shift, I'm gonna need like a couple of people with me. I can't do third shift by myself, no matter where it is and no matter what the job is. Just saying.
I would hang out at the front, and the cook usually was way at the back of the store out of earshot. One night, I was hanging out behind the counter, and I saw this guy walk past.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't think much of it and just went back to doing nothing while waiting for my shift to end. Then the door to the store opened. I look up, and I realize it's the same guy who just went by.
Mm-hmm.
He's tall, but also like skeletally thin, and there's something just not right about his eyes. But despite him putting me on edge, I get up, greet him, and ask him what he'd like to order. Nothing. He just stands there in front of me, staring up at the ceiling and muttering to himself. I was only 17, and for the most part a good kid, despite living in Sin City, so I didn't really know what to make of it. Now, I would probably just chalk it up to drugs. Anyway, he's still standing there, vacant of expression, and muttering in what sounds like tongues.
Get out.
Then he abruptly spins around and just walks back out of the store without even acknowledging that I exist.
Lock it.
At this point I'm unnerved, but I just shake it off and sit back down.
Clock.
It's getting toward the end of my shift, and I'm counting down the minutes, when I realize somebody has just walked back into the store. I look up, and it's the same guy. Same creepy eyes, only this time, he's holding up a phone to his ear.
What?
He's muttering unintelligibly, so I realize he's not talking to anyone, and worse, he's staring right at me, super intense and unblinking. At this point, I'm starting to get frightened. He just keeps looking at me, and so I try to be polite and ask if I can help him. He starts walking towards the counter, still staring at me. Then suddenly he asks in a perfectly normal voice if his order is ready. I'm mentally going, what the fuck, at this point, and I'm not sure how to answer. So I go with the truth. and I tentatively point out to him that he didn't order anything when he was first in the store. He gets this bug-eyed look on his face and lunges toward the counter.
Back up.
I jump back at this point and my heart is pounding because this guy is obviously not sane.
Back off.
I'm also afraid that he's going to pull out a knife or something and stab me. Then, just as abruptly as he lunged, he yells, "God damn it!" and looks super confused and upset, like he's about to cry. He just puts his head in his hands and starts pulling at his hair.
I would have been
I
left.
start to feel slightly bad at this point, and I ask him nicely and calmly as I can if maybe he wants to order something now. His head snaps back up. His expression is now completely blank, and he looks totally deranged. I'm holding totally still because I'm afraid moving will set him off. Then, thankfully, the door to the store opens, and a huge man walks in. He looks at this guy kind of confused, realizing that something's not right with him. The crazy guy looks at him, and looks back at me. He then starts backing up until he's at the door.
Hey, yo, that's funny. He said, I can't... It's funny because the employee that's behind the table and that's behind the desk, right, it's still there. I would have been left. I would have been out that store. Like, the cook would have been the only one in that store. But that's besides the point, right? It's funny because he said the crazy person looked at the guy, then looked back at him. It's funny because if I was in your situation, the crazy guy looked at him and then looked at me, but I'm not there. I'm already gone. I'm already in my car. I'm already in my house. Like, what you mean, bruh? People stay playing, I'm trying to tell you.
He starts walking towards the edge of the storefront, looking at me the whole time, and then he just goes past the edge of the store and is gone. The guy who walked in looks at me and asks what the hell was that. I just look back and tell him I have no idea and I think the guy was crazy. I try to shake it off, but I'm totally on edge for the rest of my shift.
Don't shake it.
When I clocked out that night, I made one of the drivers walk out with me.
Right.
Then I jumped into my car and just got the hell out of there.
Right.
I never saw that dude again, but it was a weird experience and pretty unnerving. I'm not sure what he would have done if that guy hadn't walked in when he did.
Playing.
I attend a college that's located in one of the poorest cities in Northern California.
Right.
The campus is relatively safe since the school employs its own Department of Public Safety, but after the sun sets, it's usually a good call to remain indoors because that's when the townies come out and they tend to wander onto campus. About 2 years ago, I was living in an apartment complex on the main part of the campus and I still didn't have a car yet. It was the end of the fall semester, and I was the last person in my apartment of 3 girls to finish taking finals, so I was home alone since my roommates had already gone home for the winter break. I got back from taking my last exam and followed my usual routine of dejectedly collapsing into a bed to cry and sleep off the effects of pulling an all-nighter. When I finally woke up, it was already past 10 p.m. and I was starving. Unfortunately, the student grocery store and cafeteria were closed for the day, and I had nothing in the apartment to eat and no car to get food elsewhere. I was woefully poking around the fridge in hopes that I would find something substantial to tide me over until morning, when I noticed a Domino's coupon that someone had stuck to the freezer. My stomach's pathetic cries for sustenance had been answered. I quickly decided that there was no shame in ordering a whole pizza for myself, because 1, I was ravenous, and 2, the completion of finals demanded some sort of celebration, and 3, if anyone happened to ask, I was going to lie and say I was sharing with a friend or something along those lines. Anyway, I eagerly order up my feast for 1 and provide the cashier with my address, apartment, and cell number. I typically never give out my number to anyone, but I had ordered delivery from Domino's in the past, and I knew they needed my number to call me once they were outside, because the drivers always got lost navigating through campus. About 20 minutes later, I got the call. My food was here. For reference, it was now close to midnight, and the campus was pretty much dead since most students had gone home. The driver told me he was parked in front of a dorm building that was right across the street from my apartment. I hustled out of my apartment and was going down the stairs when I spotted the delivery guy waiting outside of his car with my pizza. At this point, my sense of caution kicked in, and I slowed my pace as my brain took in the fact that there were no other students out, the lighting was bad, and I was essentially walking up to a stranger in his car that still had its engine running.
Well, looks like I'm about to starve.
As I neared the bottom of the steps, I silently hoped he would cross the street and approach me, so that I wouldn't have to get near the car. Of course, that didn't happen. I made my way across the street and was finally able to get a good look at him. He was a relatively short Hispanic guy, maybe 5'7" or 5'9", in his early 20s, and my nerves were getting bombarded by the creeper vibes he was giving off. I can only compare it to the vibe that you get when you're out clubbing, and you suddenly spot the guy lurking in the crowd sporting the slicked back ponytail, sunglasses, oversized shirt, and sagged pants combo who just happens to be headed in your direction. I did my best to appear calm and keep the mood light and friendly. He made some comments about how late it was and how no one was around, but I just signed the receipt as quickly as possible, gave him my thanks and an awkward smile, and hightailed it out of there as soon as he handed me my food. I could feel him watching me as I climbed the stairs back to my place. Once I got back into my apartment, I locked and chained the door and sat down on the living room couch to calm myself. After a few moments, I shrugged off the situation and reasoned it was just my paranoia and overactive imagination acting up again. I had turned on the TV and was about to take my first bite of pizza when I got a text from an unknown number. It just read, "You're hella sexy."
Oh, no.
I connected the dots and matched the text number to the call I had received earlier from the pizza delivery guy. My initial reaction, of course, was shock, since nothing like this had ever happened to me before. But that eventually melted away into laughter and disbelief when I considered my appearance at the time. Like I had mentioned earlier, I had just woken up from my nap after taking the last of my finals. I was wearing a pair of raggedy sweatpants and a loose sweatshirt. My hair was nappy and tied up in a messy ponytail, and my face was probably greasier than the pizza I was eating. And to top it all off, I had my glasses on. Definitely not a pretty picture, much less anything that could even come close to resembling hella sexy. The next morning I got a call from my boyfriend John, and I casually told him about the events that had transpired the previous evening. After sheepishly trying to defend my actions on the basis of poor judgment caused by extreme hunger, and promising never to do that type of thing again, John convinced me that I should report it to the campus police as a precautionary measure. I gave them a call and an officer stopped by my apartment a few hours later. I relayed my story, he took some pictures of the text message and wrote down the dude's phone number. The officer then told me he could contact the Domino's if I wanted him to, but that it would most likely result in the guy's termination. I was still relatively unfazed by the whole situation, and I told the officer that I just wanted to make sure this creep never did this to any other girls on campus. But at the same time, I didn't want him to lose his job.
I don't care. I don't care at all. I'm gonna call your peoples. I'm gonna call your manager and be like, hey, yo, Johnny, yeah, he's gonna have to get. He's gonna have to leave. You have to fire him, please, cause I just got pizza from this dude. Right, pizza. Do you understand what it's pizza. How do you get creepy vibes from a person that gives you pizza? That's crazy, yo. Like that. But that's besides the point. This dude is creepy, and that's it. That's it. Just fire him for being creepy. Do you need any more information? Really? You do? You need that okay. Johnny is creepy. Creepy. It creepy, and right. Creepy. Yeah, that's it.
The officer then started asking me questions about how I felt during my encounter.
I felt creeped out.
Questions along the lines of, do you feel threatened by this man?
Yes.
Do you feel safe in your apartment with the knowledge that he has both your phone number and your exact address?
Nope.
If I wasn't scared before, I definitely was now, and during the course of my questioning, I had broken out into a cold sweat, and my traitorous imagination began conjuring up all sorts of dastardly situations that ended in my untimely demise. Obviously, I ended up giving the officer the go-ahead to pursue my case and contact Domino's. About a month later, while I was at home celebrating the holidays, I got a call from my boyfriend. I had left him the keys to my apartment so that he could go store his bike there and crash in my room while I was away. He told me that he had stopped by my place, but that he couldn't get in because the keys weren't working. He also said that it looked like someone had broken in because there was some glass on the floor and a wooden board across my living room window. I was pretty upset because this was my first time hearing about it, so I called the school the next day to figure out what the hell happened. Housing transferred my call to the public safety department, and the officer I spoke with was only able to tell me that, according to their records, a maintenance worker had called them 2 days after I had headed home to report my broken window. Public safety had responded by boarding up the window and changing the lock when they noticed it had been tampered with. I convinced the officer to let my boyfriend into the apartment so he could check if anything was stolen, and thankfully, nothing was. My gut tells me that it was the pizza delivery man who did it. It was him who tried to pick my lock and then break my window. It scares me even more now when I consider the fact that nothing had been stolen. My flat-screen TV was right by the window that had been broken, and my boyfriend's fancy road bike was sitting right there in the living room. Why didn't he steal anything? Does that mean his intentions were to break in and get his revenge on me, the girl that had cost him his job? Would this still have happened if I had not given the officer permission to pursue the case? I try not to spend too much time speculating about what his true intentions were, but when I do, it still makes my heart race when I think about what could have happened if I had still been in my apartment at the time.
You was kind of clucking up. What the hell is that?
I took a third job delivering pizzas in Chicago when I was 25. I had an order in one of these big fancy condominiums downtown. When you deliver to these buildings, you have to check in at the front desk, where they usually call the resident to confirm the delivery. Once I was cleared to go up, this young guy saunters up to the front desk from behind the crowds in the lobby. This was a Friday evening, and the lobby was abuzz with people ready for a night on the town. This guy was dressed kind of business casual, and the only thing that made him really stand out was that he was wearing one of those gaudy visors that you might associate with college frat guys. He jokingly says to me,
"Hey, that's my pizza. I'll take it."
To which I respond, "Fuck off, pal."
No.
I had heard some take or another of this joke before. It's especially common in business lobbies like this one, and typically that would be the end of it, and we'd never see each other again. But the tone of my voice, or my crude choice of words, or any one aspect of the way I conducted myself, seemed to have struck a nerve with the fellow. As I began to walk towards the elevator doors, he stopped me, and says with a grave tone,
"You think you can talk to me that way? Do you know who I am?"
I don't care.
Is this still a joke? I thought to myself. What's going on here? I have several more pizzas waiting in my car, and if I don't deliver this one and get back to the mall parking lot in front of the building within 5 minutes, the valet will have my car towed. I decide to ignore the man and press forward, but he persisted after me, babbling about what he does to people like me. He followed me onto the elevator, crowded with other tenants. I thought this would make him shut up, but he only became more agitated.
"I know what kind of person you are,"
he said to me, his eyes gleaming with hate. He pushed his face into mine and allowed me my first good look at him. He was handsome, with fair skin, brown hair, and blue eyes. He was a young and virile white guy, probably from somewhere in Northbrook or Evanston or Lake Forest. If you've ever been stuck on a crowded elevator with an agitated lunatic, you know that tensions quickly rise once the collective group becomes privy to the fact that the lunatic is not in fact joking.
Why would anybody be stuck with a crazy person or a lunatic? Like, you gotta be crazy or a lunatic to be stuck with somebody that's like that on the elevator. Like, are you serious? Like, who? Like, what? What? That makes no sense, though. Like, yeah, I tell you this much. You won't catch me. You won't hear about no news, like, no stories on anything, me being stuck in the elevator with a crazy person or a lunatic. Like, you crazy. Like, come on, bro. You can't. This is why you have to be cautious about your surroundings and the people that's around you because of things like that. Like, you, man, to be caught or stuck in an elevator with a crazy person, you asked for that. You saw it coming. Every time you're on the elevator or you get on the elevator, you see who's coming in. You see who's getting off. Alright. Hey. But yeah, I just want to point it out. Like, if you get stuck in an elevator with a crazy person, you either crazy yourself or that that it's pretty much it.
I can kill you, you know. I can have you killed.
Oh.
I can do it myself.
I'll call the authorities if you keep this up, I said. You think these nice people want to listen to your threats of violence? My floor was the first stop, and him and I were the only ones to exit. I walked down to the empty hall, pizza in hand, and find the apartment number. All the while, this man is walking behind me and mumbling.
You fuck. You're
What?
nothing to me. I hate your kind.
Racist.
I knock on the door and a middle-aged man answers. I tell him the price and give him the pizza. He gives me my pay and motions to the crazy guy. So, you let your friends come with you? No, sir. I've never met him before. He's been following me up here. I think he lives in the building.
I do live here, and you're a worthless fuck who shouldn't be here.
Who are you?
The man with the pizza says, "Can't you see you're harassing him? He's only doing his job. Why don't you just leave him alone?" I thank the man and head back toward the elevator. This time, there's only one other man on the elevator. To break the tension of this guy's jabbering threats, I ask him what he does for a living. You live in this nice building, right? You're young. Where do you work? At the Merc, he says. The Chicago Mercantile Exchange. Visions of him on the busy trading floor shouting and signaling about commodities and futures flashed in my head. It made sense now. When we reach the lobby, he stays on the elevator, presumably to go to his apartment. I walk across the lobby with the other man on the elevator. On the way out the door, I say to him, "Typical Wall Street behavior, huh?" "Sure enough," he says.
Show enough. Show enough.
This happened a few years back, when I was 12 or 13 years old. I'm from the Philippines. It was a Sunday afternoon at probably 5 to 6 o'clock, and I was at home with my dad.
Why?
My mom had left to buy groceries about 30 minutes ago using our one car. As I was watching videos on YouTube, the doorbell suddenly rang. It rang quite a few times until I'd finally had enough of it. That's when I knew that I had to open it. Knowing that my dad was probably sleeping in the other room, I reluctantly went downstairs to open the door.
Wow.
The thing is, I've dreaded opening the front door for people ever since my grandpa scolded me for opening the door to the mailman for this house. He lectured me about how dangerous it could be, like I could be kidnapped or something. With that thought, I climbed on the sofa, which was 3 feet away from the front door, and pulled the curtains to see who was ringing the doorbell. Note that the window I looked through was surrounded by a tall fence 4 or 5 feet away, so I felt perfectly safe, and I found it convenient later once I talked to him. He had a dark cap on and a blue jumper. He looked pretty normal to me, but we weren't expecting anyone on a quiet Sunday. I asked him what his business was, and he replied that he was supposed to deliver a pizza to my address. Excited and a bit confused, thinking that my dad had secretly ordered pizza for us, I told him to wait while I got my dad. I climbed upstairs to my parents' room and saw my dad sleeping. I woke him up and asked him if he ordered pizza, and he replied in a daze that he didn't.
Oh, there it is.
Disappointed, I go back downstairs to break the news to the delivery guy who probably got the wrong address. But when I got back to the window, he was gone. Since I was pretty young back then, I didn't think much of it until now. Today I'm certain, and even my mom agrees when I told her the story a few years later, that I was almost kidnapped. One, it was quiet outside and I left my bedroom window open, but I didn't hear a motorcycle revving near the house, nor did I hear it when he left. Two, he left just like that, even though I specifically told him to wait. I didn't say that we didn't order pizza. Three, I didn't see a logo of the pizza place he was supposed to be working for. The strange thing was that we only had two that were near us, and they had a distinctive red color. Four, I didn't see a motorcycle near him, which was extremely odd. My mom's theory was that the guy probably thought I was at home alone because our single car was gone, and my dad barely got out of the house since he was unemployed back then. What probably got him to leave was that I told him to wait for me to get my dad. If not for my grandpa scolding me, I would have answered the door and probably not be here writing this for you guys.
Hey, he was not clucking up.
Hey guys, what's up? It's Blue Spooky here. I just wanted to thank you all for watching, especially if you made it this far to the end of the video. We're pretty close to coming up on 500 subscribers now, so I'm super excited about that. Gonna try to get back on schedule here pretty soon. And what better way than to start off with this special scary pizza delivery stories video. If you guys like the video, please feel free to like and subscribe. And if you have any constructive criticism or feedback, please leave it in the comments below, because I'm always trying to improve and I'd really like to know what I can do better for you guys. If you have any stories that you'd like me to read, or your own personal stories that you'd like to send in, I have links to all my social media in the description below, so you guys can check those out. Thank you guys for watching, and I hope you have a great day.
This seemed like it was kind of old, like really old, cause you know when yeah, it is, because now I think in his most recent videos he say, "Hey guys, Blue Spooky here," but in this one he said like Blue Spooky here, yeah. Can we just give a second? And applaud the kid in the comment section. Can we get some like clapping hand emojis, some applaud emojis for the kid for number 4? He was kind of close, I'm not gonna lie, to getting kidnapped and clucked up, but he noticed the red flags. He noticed the 4 or 5 different red flags, and that's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about, bruh. He didn't get too excited where he forgot, you know, the do's and nots, or like the do's and the do's. Is it the do and the do not, or I don't know how to say that. Yeah, y'all know what I'm trying to say. You know, like, I want my kids, when I decide to have kids, I want my kids to be like that, you know? If I tell you that, you know, I didn't order pizza, and there's a pizza delivery person at the door, don't open it. Point blank period. You know? If I say, you know, we're not going to Chuck E. Cheese, don't question it. Right? Right, like, Chucky himself is scary as hell. He should scare you too. Just saying. You know? I pass I passed Chuck E. Cheese like a couple of times. And every time I pass it, I'm like, nope. I just don't like Chucky. Like, I never have. That's crazy. But yes, there's not a chance in hell that I would ever be a delivery person. because of stuff like that. Like, you don't know. Like, once you like, you're at that stranger's place, at that stranger's doorstep, right? And they open that door, anything can happen. You know, it could rain. Like, as soon as they open the door to get the pizza, right? A lot of things can happen. One, they can either get the pizza and give you the money, right? Or you can pay online and they get the pizza, close the door, right? Or they get the pizza and you don't get the money, right? Or they say, hold on, let me get the money, come on in, I'm not coming in. Nope, I'm gonna stay my, I'm about to curse. I'm gonna stay my butt right here, right, until you come. I'm not going inside your place. You must be crazy if you think I'm gonna come inside your place. Like, no, Anybody that's ever did delivery before or plan on doing it or is about to do it, unless you know that person really, really well, and unless you cluck with that person hard, pause. When a person says come inside or hold on, or like you can come on inside, don't just stay right outside. And plus, I just want to throw this out there, please, and I hope you listen real close, right? If you're doing delivery, right, or you're about to do it, right, make sure that when you about to go out and you about to deliver that food, that you have on your Adidas. And if you don't have Adidas, I don't know what to tell you. You short out of luck. You short. You short. No other brand of shoes is going to get you hauling as fast as Adidas. Right? Now, just saying, you know? Cause, like I said, if you delivering food, once you go to that person's place and you in front of that door and they open the door, it's free game. Anything can happen at any given. That's why I can't do that. You gotta have like some real cojones, some real balls, coconuts, some bowling balls, like some peas. Like, you gotta have some real peas, right? If you're gonna deliver something. And I'm talking more than food. You can be a FedEx driver, UPS, postal person, U.S. Postal Office. I don't know. You can be. I don't know who else delivers. You can, just in general, if you a delivery person, your man, your cojones are way bigger than mine, and I don't mind that. Just make sure that when you're about to deliver something, that you got your Adidas. Okay, can you do that for me? Can you make that promise for me? You can? You sure? Don't go back on it now. Okay? Alright. So that's my advice of the day, I guess. But yeah, keep it cool, keep it classy, and I love you. Stay happy, my family.